Well, I met Ruby at a rehearsal down at the New Amsterdam Theater, and she looked so beautiful.
I mean, I really didn't like him. I thought he was a very peculiar looking person.
December of 1945, in the first play that I was ever involved in. She was an understudy who ultimately took over the role, and I got to know her, and we got to be friends.
And he was this tall, skinny man dressed, you know, in the well-worn apparel of a short, fat man, you know. And his understudy and I used to sit in the theater, and we would talk about him. And we would say, well, where did he get his clothes?
Somebody wrote Ruby from New York that they were going to make a film with Joe Louis called The Fight Never Ends, and there was going to be a colored producer, Bill Alexander. Well, this kind of stuff excites Ruby. Ruby, how's the film going? She said, well, that's just what I want to talk to you about. Could we stop in and have a cup of coffee? I said, yes. So, Ruby, how's it going? I said, it's finished. The film is finished. I saw it. It's a lovely film. Joe Louis is in it. I'm in it. I said, yes. He said, the only thing is, it's still in the lab, and we can't get it out. You know, and everybody's money is exhausted, and we just need some more money. We got to have some money, get it out of the lab. So I said, how much do you need, Ruby? She said, well, how much have you got? Well, I had accumulated about $3,000, and I let Ruby talk me out of the $3,000. And then I went to matriculate and paid no attention for the next 3 or 4 weeks, lived in the Bronx. One day, knock sound on the door, opened the door, Ruby stands there looking at me with very sad eyes.
He played the part of a returning soldier, and in the play Jeb by Robert Audrey. And he, at one point, he stood on the tie, slowly, you know, deliberately tying his tie in his soldier's uniform. And I remember sitting with Bill in the audience and looking up at him, and something very peculiar happened, you know, because I hadn't been thinking about him in any particular way, and I had no romantic notions about him. But you know, as I watched him, I felt something like a bolt of lightning. You know?
What's the matter? So, well, I see, you know, I got your money, $3,000, and I promised you that as soon as we got out of the lab, you know, it was going to go into distribution, and the first money we made was going to come back to you. So, well, we got it out of the lab, but lo and behold, the sheriff was standing there with another lien. He took the film, and I said to her, hold on, Sister Ruby, you took my money, yeah, and I think we ought to talk. How am I going to protect my investment? Well, out of that conversation, we ultimately married and all that. But, so you see, we never married for love. I didn't. I married for money. So, to this very day, if Ruby shows up with $3,000, he's free to go. But 50 years and the child ain't made it. So, that's the story of our romance.
Ossie Davis was born in Cogdell, Georgia on December 18, 1917. Davis made his acting debut in the play Joy Exceeding Glory in 1941. In 1942, he was drafted into the Army to serve during World War II. In 1946, he returned to the stage and met Miss Ruby Dee. Ruby Dee was born October 27, 1922, in Cleveland, Ohio. She grew up in Harlem and joined the American Negro Theater in 1941. Dee's career spans a generation and includes 1950's The Jackie Robinson Story and 1961's A Raisin in the Sun. Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis married in 1948.
1989, Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee appeared in the controversial Spike Lee film Do the Right Thing.
Hey, you old drunk! What did I tell you about drinking in front of my stoop? Move on, you're blocking my view. You are ugly enough. Don't stare at me. The evil eye doesn't work on me.
Mother, sister, you've been talking about me for 18 years. What have I ever done to you?
You're a drunk fool.
Besides that, the mayor don't bother nobody. And nobody don't bother the mayor, but you. The mayor just tend to his own business. I love everybody. I even love you.
Hold your tongue. You don't have that much love.
One day, you're gonna be nice to me. We may both be dead and buried, but you're gonna be nice, at least civil.
Two years later, in Jungle Fever, Ossie and Ruby give riveting performances as parents of two sons, one with a drug problem and the other with a marriage in trouble. Ruby expressed the despair of a mother over her wayward son.
Don't tell your father.
Lucinda, what is he doing in our home?
He is your son, our first child, Gator, and I'm fixing him something to eat.
He is not allowed in our home.
But this is his home, too.
How much money did they ask you for?
No. Gator did no such thing. Now, why don't you go in there and listen to Mahalia while I get him something to eat? Now, go on back inside. Go on.
One time, superhero. One time, superhero.
And then we got to know him, and he said that there were parts that he wanted Ruby and me to play in his film, and he was true to that too. And he became our role model. No other director has given us so many roles to play.
Everybody worked for Spike. You know, women, men, white, black, the physically handicapped, the challenge of the, everybody worked for Spike. And also I say, to complete our education, because I learned a lot from Spike. I learned a lot because he fought the big boys. He got those unions open because he made them open the unions, you know. So I learned something from Spike.
Ruby Dee, when and how did you become an active member of the civil rights movement?
I call myself, I never remember like saying, well, I'm going to join the civil rights movement. I just sort of, that's all I knew all my life, some aspect of it, even before it was called the civil rights movement, don't you understand? When I first, years ago, saw my first picture of black men hanging from trees, when I could scarcely know the meaning of things, or I remember things that stuck in my head. This family strung up, and the woman was pregnant. They opened the belly up, the baby had fallen out, and being hobnailed. You know, when I began to contemplate racism, so I can't say that I joined it. I was born into it.
It's the affirmation of civil rights. It's anything ever did. The play itself was about a young veteran coming back, trying to get a job, and wrote some Canada Lee were all people on Broadway at that time, and they were involved. Broadway itself was involved in absorbing the new people who had come down from Harlem. Ourselves, we were the first generation to be integrated onto the Broadway stage. Broadway was concerned about racism. Lynchings were going on in the South. Soldiers were being shot returning from the army. So that when you're on Broadway, you were also involved in that struggle. But certainly the NAACP, we were supporters of SNCC and supporters of Malcolm X, although we were never Muslims, and supporters of Martin Luther King, though we did not belong to the Southern Leadership Conference.
How does Ruby Dee want to be remembered?
Let me see, how do I want to be remembered? I think I'd like to be remembered. One of the ways is that I like to be remembered because I believe that human beings are like the members of a cosmic orchestra. Each of us has a vibration and a sound. Each of us is a different instrument. And that what, as an actor, I'm supposed to do is to hear the sounds and the silences, find the rhythms of the people. This is what I do now with the books. Hear what melody describes. And so, because this is how, when we talk about peace on earth, we talk about everybody ultimately deciding, oh, I'm this particular instrument with this particular vibration, and I belong in this part of the cosmic orchestra.
I would like to be remembered as a man who had love in his life, the love of a woman, the love of a family, the love of friends, the respect of a profession. A man who tried to do the best that he could, but at the last moment was willing, although reluctantly, to get off the stage and make room for somebody else.
If I had to think of two artists who are the most involved, the two names that would come to mind would be Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee.
One of the most respected couples in that most unstable industry, show business, have done it all, and without the typical compromises made of some performers of color.
The inordinate power of their talent set a pace for the rest of us.
My films were elevated because of the presence of Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis.
And it's an amazing story. Ossie and Ruby have been at the center of American life for so long and accomplished so much.
They didn't just create and say I'm an artist, I had nothing to do with that. They dealt with the events of their time.
Both Ruby and Ossie saw their life as much larger than themselves.
People need to get to see them and to know them as we've all known them over the years.
Special live coverage of Remembering Ossie, the funeral for Ossie Davis.
Too quickly, we are losing too many of our legends.